live in 4 minutes.
Oh my goodness. I'm not even gonna do an intro. We're just gonna get it to start up. Dude, we've been sitting here
All
talking.
right.
This happens to me sometimes. I'm the worst live streamer. Are we live now, guys? Sorry, I don't know what happened. We were been sitting here talking for the last five
We were
minutes.
talking for the past like 8, 10
You
minutes.
know that you guys who have watched me before know that happens sometimes. YouTube is always messing with me. I thought we were live. Sorry, everybody. What's up? They were like, "Why is the chat?" And I started. Sorry, guys. We're here with Taps Trades. Sorry, everybody. What's up, my homies and fellow NFT collectors? I think I was concentrating on making sure that the stream went well, and I didn't pay enough attention to the timing, the countdown, and I somehow did not actually start the stream. But we got plenty of time. We got 20 minutes. We got Taps here. If you guys don't know Taps Trades, like I said earlier, but you didn't hear, he's the biggest VeVe YouTuber. He's always putting out great content about what's going on in the VeVe world and also what's going on in the Omi token world and cryptocurrency. So sorry about that, Taps. Let's start over. Once again, can you introduce yourself and tell us about when you joined VeVe and what you like to collect on the app?
Yeah, no, a little bit deja vu here. Yeah, we we were already talking about this. So,
Sorry.
hey everyone, happy to see everyone. Thanks for having me, Vault. Happy to be here, and I think it's really awesome to be doing like the first Comic Con, drop together. Just because there's a bunch of people onboarding, and so they're going to be able to see this. Hopefully, they're able to hop into this and do it together, and see everyone here, kind of getting together and going for the drop. First experience with VeVe was I joined VeVe on February 19th, and I think I bought Omi my first time February 17th. So got in pretty early. I think I'm a sub 1,000 user. I really hope they end up doing like badges that show, what number of user you were to join one day. But
Your
been
three
in it for
digit.
a while, and yeah, it's absolutely crazy to go from 1,000 to 60,000 to 100,000 users to over 1 million at one point. So, happy to be here.
Man, I really do apologize to Taps and everybody in the chat. Man, that's tough to start off the Comic Con drop with that. I don't know. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. But we were talking about earlier, guys, and you missed it because we were talking about the Disney conspiracy that possibly Disney is buying VeVe. And what I had pulled up on the screen, I guess it was just me and Taps chatting to each other then. What I was talking to Taps about was the display that they're putting up next to Marvel, the VeVe display at Comic Con. It looks awesome. I got some pictures here on my Twitter if you guys want to check it out. And the person who posted these pictures, actually somebody who retweeted them, talked about how if Disney and Marvel, such a huge company, is putting that much effort into VeVe, does that mean that possibly Disney might be buying out VeVe? So let me know, Taps, what do you think on that? Let me know once again, what do you think on that conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I think if Disney were to acquire VeVe, they would have already made an offer at some point. But right now, they're probably valued around 1 billion to 2 billion, and it's still so early, right? Like we know the VeVeverse is coming. They're about to become a metaverse token. They're about to become a metaverse play. I mean, as an NFT marketplace, like comparable like OpenSea or even a Mutablocks marketplace, it's still not fully recognized, right? So there's still a lot of ability for them to pull a lot of revenue in and generate even larger amount of user base. So for them as a company, I think they see the bigger picture that they can scale this company up to a multi-billion-dollar company. And so why sell when everything's just starting to kick off when they can hold out? Because David's already extremely wealthy. I mean, most of the team already is. And so they can just wait to a longer price point. I mean, everyone has a price, and I don't think they would, necessarily be fully acquired. I think they'd rub at or run as a sub entity and or do like a merger.
Right.
But yeah, so I think it's possible. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime this year or next.
Yeah, I can't see why anybody would want to sell out a company. Not only is it the new technology, but it's also selling out their products in, a minute every time. Maybe not every time now, but they've been selling out so much stuff, and they have such a great community. I can't see any reason why they would want to sell this app even to Disney. But you never know, money. But there's a price for everything. What's really interesting though is what Dr. Profit tweeted today, and I know there's some collectors in here who collect those Nickelodeon NFTs, and they are now #1 on OpenSea, and that just shows what IP licensing can do on OpenSea. Don't you think that that's an indicator, Taps, of how well VeVe will do whenever we have interoperability?
Yeah, and so I have two recur passes. I have watched the project pretty closely just to see how it does because it does have Gary V's backing it and quite a few other people, and so
Fun under
all
the
those
sun
drops
super
have
chatted
done not so good.
$4.99.
So I
Taps
actually
rocket rocket.
skipped this one. I was like, well, I really want to see what it's going to do. I'm not going to pour more money into Recur because I'm pouring money into VeVe, I'm pouring money into Omi and other altcoins while the markets were down. And that was a miss, right? But it does show just how strong that IP does, right? I mean, Nickelodeon, like that's the stuff that we all grew up on. And for me, that's nostalgic. I love seeing like Rugrats and all those characters, but I did skip it and look at it's number one on OpenSea. But again, Recur is recognized as a true NFT, where VeVe NFTs are still extremely under the radar, right? Because they want to see the metadata. They're not in OpenSea. So when you can actually have the first Marvel NFT in OpenSea, imagine what's going to happen, right? When you can have the actual Batman collectibles and you can put them in augmented reality. I mean, it's truly a true solid use case of just what VeVe can do once we have that interoperability.
Yeah, and even if you look at those NFTs, I mean, I'm personally not a big Rugrats fan. I think I missed that wave, but they're like 2D pictures, right? And you even compare those to VeVe's 3D NFTs. That's a whole different game.
100%. I mean, I mean, people are obviously going to be maybe a little bit skeptical about the Electras and the quality, but when you look at something like, I think the dinosaurs are some of the best looking collectibles, just like the detail of them. But you also look at like Ultramans and Spider-Man and all those, like those in terms of quality of content on OpenSea is far and few between, right? So I can't wait to see when that happens. I'm just curious when that will happen, right? Because we're still not in Immutable X Marketplace. Immutable X Marketplace still doesn't integrate with OpenSea, which they announced that over a year ago that the integration was happening. So
True.
I think the holdup there is more on Immutable X, but VeVe is not going to come out and say, hey, there's a holdup with our partner. Instead, they're saying, hey, it's still coming.
Yeah, the popularity of those Nickelodeon NFTs definitely have me bullish on VeVe. I know Tucson in here is getting upset. He's like, talk about today's drop. I'm trying to get to it, man. I'm really bullish about that news, though. I'm telling you, whenever, and it's kind of like the new Win, though. We had Win MTL, Win MTL. Now it's going to be Win interoperability, but still, it's so bullish because when that does happen, wow, these things are going to take off. But let's get into today's drop. Some people were asking about the technique to use for today's drop. I'm definitely going with the line gate. This is not a blind box. You're only going to have one NFT to go for. Some people mentioned Brave Gate. You could possibly skip the drop and go for the rebound instead. That's what Brave Gate is. What's up, Kobe Collects? What's up, DJ Tico? Sorry I haven't said. I did say hi to some people earlier, but you guys didn't see it, so sorry about that. But Brave Gate is skipping the drop completely because anybody who goes for the drop, whether they get it or not, their buy now switches to sold out. So at the 4-minute rebound, everybody has to click into the page to try to get that buy now button back at the 4-minute mark. So if you skip the drop, you still have your buy now, and you can click at the 4-minute mark and try to get the rebound instead of getting the drop at the beginning. And also, you got to recognize that this is not a blind box drop. So when we're trying to get that buy now button back at the 4-minute or 8-minute mark, pulling down and refreshing like we've been doing the last 2 days will not work. There's no refresh there. You'll have to click into the page to get the buy now button back. And we'll check out some price predictions for today as well. I know a lot of people are asking, do you think this will go under retail? I'm actually pretty bullish on today's price prediction compared to most of the people I've seen so far. Let's get Taps's first, and then we'll go and check what everybody else is predicting. What do you think if this is going to sell for retail price in the aftermarket?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still a poster, right? And posters are some of the historically worst performing in terms of retaining value. So, and it's a large number of editions compared to several other posters, right? So you look at like some of them that have like around 1,000 and they're around 100 gems, but it's the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. It's the first drop of San Diego Comic-Con where there's 150,000 people, which obviously we're not going to get all of them, but there's still going to be new users hopping in. And it's a really cool looking one too. It has like all the different forms of Spider-Man. So I do think because of that, it does have a lot more value and people seem to be a little bit more pumped about this one than other posters. So I think it'll be anywhere around 120 gems, maybe 100 gems, but I don't think it'll drop down to retail.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to drop down to retail either. I was looking at these predictions earlier, and everybody's pretty much in the 80 to 125 range. Let's go through them real quick. Looks like Shoe Special has 80 to 100. MechJew has 70 to 80. VeVe Analysis has 80 today. My price prediction, I'm going to be the bull today. I'm going to go 125 jimmies. Camino's got 80. Abdullah Arif's at 104 today. Looks like that's all we got. So everywhere between 80 to 125. So none of those are below retail. Retail is 60 gems today. And I know some people were asking about the airdrop. Airdrops did go out today. I know Tap's got an airdrop, but he hasn't been able to see his yet. Have you still been able to pull that up? You don't know what you got?
Trying to check. I should get the secret rare, but
Well,
every
that's
time
what.
I try to check for it, it shows the image, like
Right.
the picture, and it says 1 of 0, and it's not loading. So no
So
luck there.
did you sell your dinosaurs at all after the snapshot?
I was I was going to. I was like waiting to a couple minutes, and then I got slammed with work. And then by the time I hopped in it at like noon later, because I forgot about it, I was like, all right, they've dropped. So I still have all my dinos, but I only have one of each. So
That's good. Then you should get your secret rare. I did not get the secret rare. Some people were asking that in the chat. I thought I was getting the secret rare, but as you guys saw on the live stream yesterday, if you were there, about 20 minutes after the snapshot, I went ahead and sold my ultra rare beta and ultra rare blue because I knew they were going to drop. But apparently they changed the rules a little bit, and I didn't get because I sold them, I didn't get the secret rare. So I did get the ultra rare. It was a decent serial number. I went ahead and sold it for 70 gems, and I'm going to use those gems on Comic Con drops. And I'm kind of saving up gems for Amazing Fantasy 15 Taps. I don't know if you agree with the theories from what was behind. I know I saw it in your video, but what was behind David Yu during the community update? Do you feel like Amazing Fantasy 15 is going to be dropping as a comic on the app soon? And do you have a prediction for what day?
so I really hope they do it at this event, just because we do have like the large Spider-Man exhibit that White Slash showed,
True.
and like it's big there. But I talked about in the video, I talked about how it could possibly be there, and I hope it will be. But I'm also wondering, would they potentially wait for that extremely large comic until all these people on board and then they're excited? So like I think about the fact that that's a massive comic, and so maybe they want people to get a little bit more into it. And if they were to drop it, I imagine it would be the last day of Comic-Con, or they could wait maybe a little bit more to at least these people on board into it. But I'm hoping it does come this weekend.
I kind of think a good time to drop it would be Comic Con because then they can advertise it there in front of all those people and they all recognize that cover. My prediction, I'm with Rob's stuff. We both predict that it's going to drop on August 1st because that's the anniversary of Amazing Fantasy 15 when it was published. And also, it's the first day that you will have to be KYC'd to go for drops. So I'm thinking maybe it could drop on August 1st. I don't know. We'll see. I think it is dropping at least before the end of August, sometime between now and before the end of the August. And that's going to be a huge drop. I'm already saving gems for it. I feel like it's already causing a little bit of gem squeeze. My prediction, or the way I look at it, I feel like the MTL dip that we expected has already happened and it's over. But now we're in the Amazing Fantasy 15 gem squeeze. Is that the way you're looking at things now, Taps?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're already starting to see things pump, right? You look at Spider-Man 2099, and it went from like $450. When I checked this morning, it was like $780. So everything with Marvel's pumping. But I do think we're going to see kind of like a mini little bull run in the app, just because, again, new users coming in, more excitement coming in. And I think we're going to start to see some of the lower prices start to go up as well. And the ones that I'm kind of waiting to see that I don't think will do as well are some of the artist side, right? So new users come in and they don't know about Frank Kozik, they don't know about Ron English, and I think those are great drops, but they're going to be more excited for Darth Vader, Star Wars, lightsabers, Spider-Man, Captain America, all these, because they know about that and they also are at the event. So I definitely think we're going to see a little bit of a mini bull run for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I agree completely. I've been telling people it's time to start stacking up on Marvels before Comic Con, and I think it might be time to start stacking up on some of those artist drops before DCon whenever we get closer to that in November. And I know there's one in the UK as well. I'm not sure when that happens. Sorry if
Do
I'm
you think
missing everybody in the chat today. What's up, Garrett? What's up, G Money? Riley Pearson, 8 Phillies, Tucson Collectibles, Kobe Collects. Good luck, everybody, on this drop. We're going with a line gate today. The plan here is to line up your buy now button with the error message, and when there's about 3 seconds left, start spam tapping through both of them until you get the drop. Hopefully you're quick enough to get it. There's only 3,700, so there's not going to be any quick gating today. There's no getting two on the drop, but we will try to hit those 4-minute rebounds. The problem is this is not a blind box drop, so everybody's button is going to be sold out unless you're using BraveGate. So we're all going to have to back out and click into the page at the 4-minute mark to get our buy now buttons back. Now my suggestion would be to use the old wait gate we've been using the last couple of days if you are timed enough to get that buy now button back at the 4-minute mark. Don't click it then, because you're gonna have to race everybody else. Instead, wait until the 8-minute mark to click it to get your rebound. I've done that the last 2 taps and got rebounds on both of those drops at the 8-minute mark by getting my buy now at the 4-minute mark, but wait until the 8-minute mark to click it.
Awesome. That's one. Hopefully, I mean, with this one, I think it will sell out. I'm curious how the rebounds will go and like how many we'll actually have. And I did have a question for you. So we talked about Amazing Fantasy. Do you think it will actually dethrone Marvel Comics #1? So looking at Amazing Fantasy number 15, like Go Collect versus that comic, it's not as high a value than Marvel Comics #1, but it is the first appearance of Spider-Man. And we obviously know that that's one of the highest performing collectible in the app. So I'm very much curious if and when Amazing Fantasy number 15 drops, will it do better than Marvel Comics #1, which is the Grail of comics right now?
Well, first we'll just have to assume that it's going to be a 60,000 edition drop, the same edition size. And with the 60,000 edition drop right now, a lot of people are going to get multiples. So I don't think it'll be flipping MC1 anytime soon. But down the line, a couple years, maybe even just a year down the line, depending on when we get that mass adoption, man, I would have to be a physical collector. I would ask a physical collector. They would know better than me. But I would think the MC1 being the first comic on the drop, on the app, the first Marvel comic NFT, and the first Marvel comic in real life, that I think that's going to be the king, but I could be wrong.
Good point.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it has the really low edition secret rare size, and if Amazing Fantasy 15 comes out with like a 20K edition drop or a 30K edition drop, in that case, it's probably going to be MC1.
Good luck getting it.
Yeah, that's
going to be really difficult.
That's going to be tough. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes before this drop begins. You might want to go into your profile and remove your downloaded files by going to Settings, go into My Files, and removing those downloaded files. This will give you a little bit of extra speed at drop time. You can download those files back after the drop. And let's see if the market's staying open. Looks like market is staying open for this drop. And they'll probably be delivered quickly. There's only 3,000 of them. Good luck, y'all. I do think there will be some rebounds today. Somebody mentioned there's going to be a lot of rebounds today. It is a 60 gem price. There's only 3,700 of them. I don't think there'll be any rebounds after the 12-minute mark. You might get one at 4 or 8. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, Taps.
Good luck to you as well.
What kind of device do you use to go for the drops?
I have an iPhone 10.
Nice.
So we'll see how this goes. I do think this will sell out quickly, but I feel better about this one than I do some of the like the lenticulars and all that. So did you snag any of the lenticulars? I completely missed.
Man, yeah, I got 2 of those on the drop, and I ended up completing the set, and then when it pumped, I went ahead and sewed off so I could get all 3 of the dinosaur sets and get that secret rare airdrop that I never got. It's kind of rough.
Nice.
I'm all right. It'll be fine. I'm checking to make sure I am synced up pretty well with the world clock. Looks like I'm looking good. We got 45 seconds, guys. Remember, watch your own clocks. Don't watch my timer. There's lag on the stream. Here we go. We're going to be a line gating, or you can go with timing today. If you're going with timing, you want to click 1 second after the timer hits 0. It's like 3, 2, 1, 0, click. So good luck, everybody. And I haven't brought this out yet because we got taps on the stream right now, but I think I did learn a new technique that's, I mean, it's pretty much clock gate, y'all. There's a way to get clock gate working again.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I haven't tested it out yet, but I've seen some videos. The guy's showing me how it works, and if you do it a particular way, it actually works. So we might have to try that.
I haven't thought about clock gate in a long time.
Yeah, we're bringing clock gate back. Here we go, y'all. Good luck, everybody. You gotta click fast. Get in there, get in there. Ooh, none for me today.
Missed
here, too. I told you that was going to be a tough one to get. We can try to hit these rebounds. But yeah, we're gone. It's gone. Oops.
Dang.
Let's see if we got any W's in the chat. Looks like we got 1 W. Andy with the dub. Lassie got 1. Evan Tepper, Evan, Crypto Corey, Oh, we got some dubs here. Rob Cook's got one. Pure Chaos. C Daddy. Makilla Gorilla with the dub today. Congratulations. Matt Vey got one. Daniel Marquez got one. Got to get the bag. Got the bag today. PDC got it. Robbo with the dub. Congratulations, all the dubs in the chat. Let's go. Bravo's Assassin got one. Growler got one. That's my congratulations. There it is. Salmon got one. Alex got one. T Breeze, JBS. Me and Taps both struck out over here. We're going to go for the rebounds, though. And what's nice about this is that you don't have to scroll down to hit the buy now button. So you can use, if you watched the Gales video today, he showed a good technique for getting rebounds like this, where you can just start tapping on your finger where that sold out button is and just keep tapping the whole entire time as you're going back and forth once we get close to that 4-minute mark. You can tap it as the page is loading. Sarah got a 3-digit today. Congratulations. YouTube got one. Grant got one. Artix with the dub. Nicholas with the dub. Let's go. That's what I like to see. Lots of dubs in the chat. I wasn't sure if we are going to see a lot because me and Taps, we both got none. I was tapping fast too. Garrett with the dub today. Congratulations. N1 got one. Acacia got one. Dairy Elephant with the dub. Sean B got one. 265 for Artix. Nice serial number. No way we get Deadpool trucks and Silver Surfers. What do you think on these next coming up drops? Taps, we got the Chimichanga Deadpool truck, which is technically associated with Mighty Marvels. And then we got Silver Surfer and the Tesseract. Are you excited about these drops? You think they're all going above retail?
The Deadpool truck one, I'm a little bit nervous on, just because when you look at the Marvel Mighties, Deadpool's didn't do so well, but I also think about it as a vehicle, right? So I'm always looking at retaining vehicle drops just because I'm always thinking about the fact that we can race different types of vehicles in the VeVe. So I think it'll be a good one to hold. I'm just not sure on the initial price action of it. I think Silver Surfer will do really, really well just because he's a massive, massive character.
Yeah, he is.
And I mean, he's one of the strongest characters of all time. And so I think it'll do really well. The Tesseract, we already have a Tesseract. It's in the hand of Red Skull, right?
True.
But it's just a block. It's basically like a glowing version of the Borg cube in my mind. But what happens if they drop more and there's like something that they could be like utility to it? But that's extreme speculation. So I think the Tesseract will actually be the lowest performing of all these drops. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, the prices aren't too bad here. Tesseract's only 30 gems, and the Deadpool truck is only 40 gems. I like that they're kind of cheap, but I have a feeling, I have a theory that the Tesseract is going to go with the Eye of Agamemnon, and you're going to need 4 more Infinity Stones, and you're going to have to own all 6 of those. So I kind of want to start getting these Infinity Stones so that I can own all 6, because the prize for owning all 6 is probably going to be cool.
Yeah, I think if you can snag the Tesseract really, really cheap, obviously once some of the FOMOs died down.
Right.
And then if we see another stone, then that will be like, oh, okay, they're going to drop all these. Hopefully there's the tie, and then we'll see the prices pump of Eye of Agamemnon and all those.
Yep. All right, guys, it's about time to hit this rebound. Remember, watch your own clocks when you're going for it. We're going to have to click into the page. You can't pull down and refresh on this. There's no refresh on pulling down. So you'll have to click into that Spider-Man page at the 4-minute mark. I'll be clicking in. I mean, I don't want to click in a half a second on these. Whenever I try to click into the page to get the buy now button back, I do better when I wait for that 4-minute mark to click in. I don't click in early like I do when I'm going for a drop. And you can try to hit the buy now button right then when you get it back, or you can wait until the 8-minute mark to hit the buy now. Here we go. Good luck, y'all. Oh, I did not get my button back.
It's slow to load.
Man, I think I had bad timing on going back and forth. Let's see if we got any rebounds in the chat. Man, this was a tough drop to get. It might do pretty well in the market. I don't think it's going below retail like some people are predicting. Crudlord with the rebound. Mr. Wood with the rebound. Tucson got a dub. Congratulations. There wasn't many, though. Only a few. Congratulations, Tucson, with the rebound. LaPalm's got his buy now back, waiting for the 8-minute mark. Good move. Fernal Tim with the rebound. NFT Thankful got the button back but missed it. So did JBS. So some people are getting the buttons back. Oops. But they're still missing it. Let's go check out the market and see what these are selling for. I'm curious what they're looking like. We're at a floor of 79 gems, 80 gems. It's kind of what a lot of people were predicting. And we'll see if they get swept up, if people are going to be stacking these and buying them, and if the floor price goes up from here.
Surprised there's nothing on the back of it. Like I was trying to see if there's, something specific to San Diego Comic-Con on the back, or even a Marvel logo, but there's nothing
it's completely
on
blank.
the back of it.
I'm going to load it up now. I'm surprised it'd be completely blank. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, me too. Like, I think they should have at least put some kind of branding for, well, they might not have been able to do it with San Diego Comic-Con, but at least,
True.
Marvel could have put some kind of, etching in the back.
Yeah, at least they have the Deadpool logo on the top right here. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's one of the only one of 2D posters that we have with nothing on the back. All right, Tabs. Also, while I have you on the stream, I wanted to find out what are some other, what other NFT projects are you in? But before that, I really want to know what NFT project besides VeVe have you made the most money on? Because I know you're to a bunch of different stuff. You're on Solano, Cardano. You're in Caloscope, same as me. So, what have you made the most money on besides VeVe? And what kind of NFT projects are you into now?
Oh man, I mean, so at the height of the NFT kind of big bull run, I definitely flipped like some different projects that did pretty well, but I think technically the one that I'm up the most on besides VeVe, I'm actually still in the green because I've been in it for a while with my total collection. I think the one that technically I'm the most up on still is with the Alluvium land drop. So I did kind of this thing where I got the SILV2 token, so I got more buying power, and I invested probably around $2,200. And I think right now to date, all of my land's worth somewhere around 10 grand plus.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so Alluvium land has done really well, and that's another project I've done videos on. I've played one iteration of the game, but there's going to be about 3 different versions of the game, and very, very bullish on, especially when the leadership behind the project and just how much ties they have and how much money's flooding into that. But I think that's the one that right now I'm doing the best on.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are into Alluvium. I've been hearing a lot about it, that it's got a lot of big plans for the future. TZ's asking me how much for serial number 321. I would think that you could probably get 200 to 150 for that, 150 to 200, since it's kind of a special serial number. It's a reverse 321. It's kind of reverse of the 123. People collect 123 for sure. So what other Caps? What other projects are you in? I know you like Caloscope. Like I said, I'm in Caloscope with you. I definitely went for their first drop, the Arcadia drop, and still have all my NFTs from that. Besides Caloscope, what else are you into? And what do you know what's going on with Caloscope? Because I know you're an advisor for them, so you probably have the inside scoop.
Yeah, so Calo's building pretty carefully and quietly, but there's a lot of things coming and some other partnerships that are going to be announced pretty soon. So I was speaking with Kirk in the team quite a bit, and the more I kept hearing about it, the more I understood about it, I kept getting more excited. And there's some things that I can't share that
Nice,
that they're working on that is pretty exciting and pretty big. So there's a lot of things happening under the scenes that kind of helps on why I'm bullish on it. And I'm going to basically be aligned with helping them with how they're going to launch the Kalos token. So pretty much how I'm an advisor is I'm working on the actual. Oh no, I missed the rebound.
oh no.
I forgot to go for it.
I didn't.
I'll go for the 12-minute. So I'm going to be working with like how we're actually going to launch the token, going through the entire public sale, pre-sale, and strategy around that. Other cryptos I'm in. I mean, I've always kind of been a big Cardano fan, big fan of Zilliqa, big fan of Synthetics, and several others. But yeah, I think there's a lot of different technology out there. There's a lot of different projects, and so it's like VeVe's my number one, Omi's my number one, but there's so much out there that can still kind of continue to change the world in terms of blockchain and exciting projects. So I always kind of keep a pulse on what's happening, what's out there.
Man, there's so much going on. I 2 or 3 of those that you mentioned I never even heard of before. It's wild. And I thought I knew all the projects. Looks like nobody was able to get the 8-minute rebound, even with the weight gate, except for Dustin Cole got one. Congratulations. So there was one rebound at 8. Looks like the rebounds are pretty much gone. You could try again at 12, but it's going to be hard to get. Mendez Flips wants to know my price prediction for number 96. I'm looking at the other low serials in the app, and it looks like the lowest 2 digits at 300, and you got a pretty high 2-digit. So you would have to be at like 275. You could go 299 maybe, but 250 for a quick sell. Looks like the floor is moving down. It's at 6750. The serial number 1400 was on the floor. I would have sniped that. All right, it might be going to retail, surprisingly.
Yeah, but then again, when you look at the Disney posters that just dropped, the memorabilia ones, they were down to like $60, and then they shot back up, right? So
yeah, I bought 7 of them. I made a lot of gems off of that.
nice. Yeah, like I bought the Rocket to the Moon one, and I bought it like 125, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you overpaid." I was like, I don't know. I have a feeling about these, and it shot back up. Last time I saw it was like over $200.
Yep, over 200. People are saying it's going to go under retail. Prices dropping like a brick. That's fine though. It might be a perfect time to scoop. Not financial advice, but I could see if these go. I see one at 65 here. If these go under retail, picking them up and waiting to sell them back at like 100, maybe even within the next couple of days. I mean, we do have several drops coming up for Comic Con, but they don't seem like there's a whole lot of excitement for these. Do you know anything about the House of M comic, Taps?
I haven't really looked at it yet. No. I mean, take a look at here. I'm on Go Collect right now, so House of M,
Yeah,
but I'm not too familiar with it.
that common cover looks awesome to me for some reason. I like the art on it. What I don't like about it though is the uncommon looks almost exactly like the secret rare.
So it's not the white background.
No, it's not. It says, let me read the write up about it. It says the Avengers and the X-Men are faced, or is the Avengers and X-Men working together? That'd be cool. Are faced with a common foe that becomes their greatest threat. It's Wanda again. The Scarlet Witch, like usual, is out of control, and the fate of the entire world is in her hands. So maybe it's some type of little crossover between the Avengers and X-Men. I know we have a lot of comic experts in the apps, so I mean in the chat, so they'll let us know. Joe says for
So
the music metaverse play, check out Senso. Haven't heard of that one.
House of M #1 does not do well in terms of value at all in physical. And typically, like we'll see the prices do pretty well if they're like a really strong physical comic.
Right.
So yeah, like a 9.6 is $46.
Oh
So
wow.
I don't feel too bullish about the House of M comic.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they picked this one for the Comic Con drop. I do notice on the comment it says 1 of 8, so maybe this is some kind of series of 8 comics. But it's a 10K edition drop though, and we know 10Ks do decently. So I don't know. I just don't like the fact that that secret rare looks like the uncommon. That one's killing me.
Yeah, they almost look identical.
Yeah.
It's just like color in the logo, and that's the difference.
Yo Yo says maybe they'll drop 100,000 mints of Amazing Fantasy 15. I mean, I wouldn't blame them, but we're gonna have. I mean, we're all gonna have stacks. But that worked out for us. We all stacked Marvel Comic 1 and Amazing Spider-Man #1 back when they were under 10 gems, under 5 gems each, and that paid off.
Yeah, I hope they do at least 60K. If they do 30K, the value on it's going to be insane. And good luck getting it, right? Like we know we still have bots, even though it's more difficult, but that's definitely going to be one where botters are going to be trying everything in their power to go for it.
Yeah, even a 30K drop, it'll be tough to get on the drop, just one of them.
Yeah.
There was one up here I wanted to read. Where was it at? On top of having all of the Spider-Man variants, there is a really cheap set to complete for MC. This is a set by itself. Somebody asked that too. It is a set by itself. Adam says House of M is a terrible comic, and Dimitar says House of M should do pretty good. So you can see that goes back and forth a little bit. I've been noticing a lot about this. Somebody said, Dan K said, GameStop Marketplace is fire. I know that's on Immutable X. Do you know anything about the GameStop Marketplace, or do they have their own NFTs, Taps?
I think they have their own NFTs. I haven't actively looked at their marketplace yet. And I'm always kind of weary about new marketplaces. I mean, Coinbase marketplace was a huge flop.
Oh yeah.
And they're not doing well as a company at all. And like that was super anticipated, but it just didn't go very well. But the GameStop marketplace brings in a whole nother type of audience, right? Like the actual gamer side, which there's a big conflict between gamers who really hate NFTs and gamers who are like, this is what we're most excited about NFTs. And I'm a gamer, and it's one of those things where like I think about Diablo and all those games where, in Fortnite and all these games where you can, grab armor or different skins and things and different adds to your guns, but you don't technically own it, right? So you like they still own it. If anything happens, if they want to pull it away, or if they want to change the values on something, they can. But you actually own it, and you can actively sell it, and that creates a whole nother value as a gamer versus just Epic Games and all that creating it and having the actual value tied to them. So I'm pro NFT games, but it's split down the middle in terms of people who are pro and not.
I feel like it's more of the older people who are not and younger people that are pro. Maybe that's just how it seems like to me, but I definitely like the idea of gaming NFTs because that's literally utility for the NFTs.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty funny. Like we already saw pushback from like Chaosium, which I was really disappointed in just because I really like the Necronomicon. I really like how the statues look, and I was really bullish on the fact that we could use those hopefully in some kind of like chess game or something that would come to VeVeverse. But they obviously like postponed their drops because their community had so much backlash. And I think that's a little bit of an older community where they're like, oh, you're doing our community a service, you're just trying to sell out, yada yada yada, versus hey, this is the way technology and this entire space is going, so why not adopt it now? But yeah, I think that's just how the gaming world, even the tabletop gaming world, is going to view it for now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's the old Dungeons and Dragons crowd, pretty much.
Yep.
JGP just sniped a sub 500 for 66 gems. Let's go. I've seen a couple good snipes, but I was not quick enough to get them yet. You'll notice if you're sniping with your app today, your mobile app, that you don't have to scroll down to hit buy now. So you might have a better chance of sniping with your mobile app, because on the mobile app, you can sort by new listings, listings date. You cannot sort that way on the web app, so you can only look at the lowest prices. So if somebody was to list a low 2-digit serial for 10 gems above the floor, on the web app in the market, you won't see that. But if you're on your mobile app, you will see it. But you can be a little quicker on the web app on getting to the snipe, because the buy now is on the first page. Ash Cook says GameStop NFT marketplace isn't related to games at all. Really, I haven't looked at it at all. I'm still waiting for VeVe to get that interoperability before I start. Man, that's a tough word for me. Interoperability before I start checking out the IMX marketplace. Biggest Twitch games hate on NFTs, says Pydos. What are the biggest Twitch? Are you saying the gamers? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to take a while. I mean, people hated on Bitcoin for a long time now, too. I hated on Bitcoin, and now I regret it because I didn't buy Bitcoin. VeVe fan says, how will we have bots if everyone is KYC'd by August 1st? I have a couple questions about that. We'll see what Tap's opinion is. I noticed that several people are saying this drop got botted a lot. I'm not sure what y'all are talking about. I'm sitting here on the market the whole entire time. I'm not seeing very many bot-looking accounts. I mean, this one right here looks a little botty, but that's not very, I mean, compared to all the ones I see, they all got pictures and such. What do you think about that, Taps? By August 1st, do you think bots are pretty much eliminated? Can they no longer go for drops? And also, do you think that all the people that have been botted can simply create a new account and transfer all their collectibles to that one account, KYC that one account, and cash out?
Well, I think where there's a will, there's a way, right? So bots are able to get into like Nike drops and plenty of other different platforms. So
True.
I think there's always creative ways and creative loopholes, and they'll find a way, right? And like I've theorized that, you know, they can go to like maybe like the Philippines or somewhere like that, pay a really low price for someone to KYC. They KYC an account,
Yep.
and then maybe they just start dripping collectibles. Eventually, they'll get flagged, so they'd have to create a second account to load a set amount of collectibles in, send them to them to sell out, and then they take a portion of that, they give back. But then it was also a huge risk for them, right? That person who KYC can just take the money and run.
True.
But it's a lot more work for them, right? So at some point, I think there's going to be way too much work. So it's going to significantly cut down on the botters, but there's always going to be little ways for them to find loopholes to still successfully do it and make money. So I think they'll do it on the larger collectibles that do really, really high evaluations versus, you know, every drop like we were seeing before.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that idea. So there's still lots of people, even Kobe Collect, Sugar Shane, all saying that this was botted. I'm just wondering why you guys think it was botted, because I got it pulled up right here. Which ones do you think are bots? We can look at them. I see Bronco Chim. Chloe looks a little bot, like a bot possibly. There's 3 of them, but that's out of how many? And just because they don't have a picture and their profile is set to private doesn't mean they're a bot. I mean, you might be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I feel like bots are just leaving the ship like rats. Is that what they say? Rats jumping from a sinking ship?
Prices are climbing on this drop.
Yeah. Dr. Strange says the bots buy KYC accounts and make VeVe profiles with them. I know on Telegram you can buy KYC'd accounts, not necessarily for VeVe, but just the KYC'd information. People actually sell that stuff. Camino says price is moving up. I feel like I might need to grab one of these. Might have waited too long. If I can find one under 80, I might grab one and try to wait for the pump.
It's going quick.
Dang.
Trying to snipe, but everything's getting sniped.
All right, I need to get in here and grab one of these. Got one for 90.
Oof.
I know. There's one for 70. Dang, maybe I went too, I got a little too excited. I FOMO'd.
I know, I clicked an $83 one and it's already gone.
All right, maybe I did all right at 90. I'm going to keep refreshing and see if any more pop up at that 70. A lot of times people will hold those ones that are listed really low, like 70 or 80, and they'll keep it reserved so that other people will be tempted to list underneath it, and then they'll snipe the ones underneath.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm seeing 88 as low. I see one at 79. I'm assuming these are getting sniped up pretty quick. What are you guys doing in the chat? Are you guys buying? You guys selling? Let's see what the floor is at. 75, 79, but I bet you can't buy those. They're locked up. Three-digit stills in the market, says the Yizzo. Adam says this was not bought it. People don't understand what for. Yeah, math is tough sometimes. That's what I always say. It's like you got to understand how many people are going for how many editions. This is 3,000 editions here. 90 is a deal, says Tucson. Thank you. Pump it up, people. We're trying. We're trying. Tired of these bot exclusives. You're just too slow. That has something to do with it, too. You got to speed it up, man. You got to get that caffeine going, get the coffee gate going, get it all lined up with the align gate. It's going to help. These are going to 150 by Sunday, says Golden Retriever Boy. A bot did the House of M covers. What does that mean, Creed? I don't understand what that means. Bought 3 around 80. Let's go, Kobe Collects. Bought 1 at 78 for Golden Retriever Boy. Price is jumping. Man, I might try to grab one more. Y'all are making me FOMO. Stop it, chat. Taps,
Yeah.
have you bought any?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to snipe, but
That's
I'm
why I had
like
to pay a little
going for
extra.
about 10 up and I can't get them.
Yeah, I had to pay a little extra because they're hard to get. But I am sniping from the mobile app and using the new listings page, trying to get them from there. It seems like those load up a little bit faster than the lowest price page.
Yeah, I hope they can start getting like the actual refresh on the like after a drop, just a little bit cleaner, right? Because you see a bunch that are still listed that have already sold.
Yeah.
And that's been an issue for a long time now, right? So we have some, like every single drop, people are still trying to snipe, and it's pretty rough. So hopefully they figure it out.
Yeah, I was hoping to get spread out more with people trying to snipe from the web app, so there'd be less traffic on the mobile app, and it'll be a little more smoother. But the web app refreshes are pretty bad too, from what I hear. Don says,
I'm gonna give it some time.
Yeah. It'll get better. Adam says if the account KYC, it does not count as a bot, unfortunately. A lot of people just KYC their family members and keep the account. I mean, that's dangerous, though. If you're going to be KYCing your grandma and then botting on her account, I don't know if I'd put grandma on risk like that. Rucker says, I bought one at 70 15 minutes ago. Good stuff. I'll sell it to you for 100 bucks. Oh, chill out, man. That might be a good deal, though. What's up, Abdullah Arif? He sold his at 80. Now he regrets it. They're pumping, guys. I mean, I don't know if they're going to keep pumping. We do got several more drops coming up this week, but like I said, there's not a whole lot of excitement associated with those drops. I'm personally a big Deadpool fan. I'm just not a Mighty Marvel collector. I'm definitely going for the drop. I think it'll go above retail, and I think I'll hold it because I'm kind of an automobile collector. It's kind of my thing, Taps. I've got the DeLorean. I've still got this whole set from the drop that I got way back then. I've got the Aston Martin Secret Rare. That's my best NFT.
Nice.
So I'm kind of a vehicle collector. You know, I got the kits, I got the motorcycles. It's kind of my thing. I like to focus on one thing like that. What about you? Do you got any grails? I'm sure you got a couple Todds, right? Do you got a Rizzo? Do you got the Aston Martin? Do you got the Darth Vader Ultra Rare?
I do not have the ultra rare Darth Vader. I've been watching it quite a bit. I almost bought it when it was at like 1.8, but I kept waiting, and I still really want one, but I was at the time, I was like, do I want to buy an ultra rare Vader that I really want to play with and like, you know, I just hold it long term, or do at the time when it was at 0.001 Omi, do I want 2 million more Omi? I went with 2 million more Omi. So that was my rationale there versus going for the Vader. I think it paid well, yeah, because Vader's still what, like 2,500 or so. So from 1.8 to 2,500 versus 0.001 to it just touched 0.002 today, Omi was actually the better call, and we'll see how that plays out long term.
So since you know much more about the crypto industry and Omi, and you've been watching the chart for a long time, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the action on the Omi token over the next couple months?
I think so. I'm really nervous about what's going to happen the next week, just because earnings are actually coming in like for stocks for a little bit better than we expected, but a lot of like Amazon and several other and Apple and several other are going to actually be coming in next week, as well as the next inflation data, which we're expecting 100 basis point hike. So I'm kind of expecting crypto to make a run down. However, I do think we're going to go into like a mini bull run with Ethereum 2.0 that's supposed to be coming like mid-September. So I think all alts will start pumping a little bit in August going up to that. So I'm hoping for a spike down, add where I can, and then I think Omi, including several other alts, will continue to rally up into September. And then that puts us in a good spot for hopefully we get like a trailer or some kind of release teasing the VeVeverse that I imagine is going to come like the very, very end of year, the first phase of it. And that's where like Omi goes from a token with no utility, and hopefully it does have some utility then, to a metaverse coin. And so I think we'll see some solid price action at the end of this year for Omi.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if it does get looked at as a metaverse coin, because metaverse is the big buzzword right now. What
Mm-hmm.
do you think is up with the exchanges? How come we still have never gotten on the big boys, the Coinbases?
Yeah. So, and this is me theorizing, but I think Reese one time, like either in Discord or in Twitter, alluded to the fact that they're being very strategic about announcing the exchanges. Right? They're like, why would they announce it when everything's tanking? All like back in February when everything was just dropping. Why would they announce it while we're going into a bear market? But now we're either we already had the bottom of the bear market or we're close to it. And so now I think, okay, after San Diego Comic Con's done, what else do they focus on? They focus on Omi Utility, the Master Collector program. Hopefully we have an exchange or two. But I do think for Omi to go to extremes like, 10 cents, 20 cents higher, we need to be on a shit ton more exchanges,
I
because
agree.
when you look at like top 10, top 20 crypto, they're on 100 different exchanges, or at least 100 different pairings, and we're on five or six. So the fact that it's been around for 3 years and we're only at that, it's great in terms of adding right now for value, but for them to really scale to be a sizable token in the next bull run, we need to be on, in my opinion, at least 20 total pairings and exchanges to really run. So I'm hoping that we go on like Binance or KuCoin, maybe Coinbase, but we'll see what happens. But I think we'll at least get one or two exchanges this year.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. I guess they did the right thing of not putting us on all those exchanges before the big dip.
Yeah.
Makes plenty of sense. Shout out to all the people in the chat. We've got several questions in the chat for you, Taps, but I was asking all my questions first because that's what I do on my stream. All right, all my questions are out of the way now. Let me get to your guys' question. What's up, Rutger? He says, for a long-term hold, what would your pick be between Rizzo and Amazing Spider-Man #1 Secret Rare? Those are your only two options. Ooh, that's tough.
I mean, like if you're just handed one, or if you had to buy it right now.
You had to pick one of those two to hold long-term.
I'd say Amazing Spider-Man. Like I'm a big fan of Rizzo. I got Rizzo. I was the second collectible I bought back when you could actually still buy them in the collectible app. So I spent $69 on mine. But it was the first Marvel NFT period on the blockchain, right? So, and I think the fact that it's a low amount, it's Spider-Man versus Batman, and I love Batman, but Spider-Man is more loved in the world by far. So I think it'll do the best long term. And I am curious because there's been a lot of talk like, hey, could Walt surpass like Spider-Man? I think because of the total additions, and because I don't think, and because it's also animated, I think Spider-Man will always be a little bit higher than Walt.
Yeah, I'm all about scarcity. I'm not sure if he was talking about that Spider-Man Secret Rare or the Amazing Spider-Man comic, if you
Oh,
can
the comic.
specify. I think that, yeah, that Secret Rare collectible Spider-Man is probably going to be like, I don't know if I want to say #1 of all time on the app for a long time, but it's kind of hard to beat. 1,000 editions. So, I mean, if you compare that to Partner Statue, I even have a bet going with Kobe Collects that by the end of next year, the Aston Martin is going to flip the Partner Statue based on scarcity and the I guess the planned utility in the metaverse. You're going to need a vehicle to drive around.
What's the bet? Like, are you guys betting something, or is it
Yeah,
just
we
kind of
got
like a?
1,000 gems on it.
That's a
1,000
big
gems.
bet.
I'm hoping that Aston Martin pulls through for me. Dom says, is KYC going to make bots go away? We were just talking about that earlier. I mean, if this stuff is going on OpenSea or even IMX and we got interoperability and the stuff is selling like the way the Nickelodeon stuff is selling, but better because it is better, and we're selling stuff for like 1,000 gems or $1,000, then bots are going to be here because it's just profitable. They're going to be hard to stop. People can buy KYC accounts. Gerald Lim Brave gated today on 2 devices and landed the drop on both. Let's go. Congratulations. Brave Gate is where you skip the drop and go for that 4-minute rebound instead. Good move. Tucson says, I'm a quarter Russian. I know these. All right, right on. Abdullah says, personally, VeVe is strategic. So when VeVeverse comes out, I think Omi will be some sort of currency, and that's when they will try advertising Omi, and that's when Omi will be in Coinbase. Does that make sense to you, Taps?
Yeah. So the one thing that I'm nervous about that is they want VeVe to always be accessible to the masses, right? So it's going to be this hybrid of a centralized, decentralized metaverse. So it's not quite like Meta, which will be fully centralized, but they have interoperability and all that coming. So one thing that I think constantly is it'd be great if you could only use Omi in the VeVeverse, but just like the app, they want the masses to come in because user base is really going to be what's going to make the king of a metaverse. You look at like Sandbox and Decentraland, they're crushing it in terms of the tokens and the NFTs, but the user base is both together are not even close to what VeVe's user base is. So if they're going to limit spending,
Rucker H super
sorry,
chatted
my robot
$5.
lady's
I
talking
meant
to you.
AMS1SR the comic vs
Sorry about
Riso.
oh, you're good.
Thanks.
I was gonna say, so I think they're gonna have the ability to still spend gems in the VeVeverse, but I think there's gonna be advantages if you choose to spend Omi, so it really does give it full utility. And I kind of wish you could only spend Omi, but I get it. Like for the mainstream, you want to still have access to gems, so that way everyone can play in the metaverse.
Yeah, I always understood it as being gems were equal to $1 worth of Omi tokens. So even if you're spending the gems underneath it, you're really spending the Omi tokens. Rucker H, he was the one asking earlier about the Rizzo versus the secret rare. He's saying AMS. I'm thinking that's Amazing Spider-Man #1 secret rare, even though it should be ASM, right? I think, is there an AMS one? I think I think it means Amazing Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man. ASM? AMS. That's got to be what he means. What about that comic? Isn't that one with 500 editions, I would believe?
Yeah, I'd still, on that case, I'd say Rizzo, just because I do think, it's the first drop ever. When you think about how big VeVe can scale to, how popular it will come again, I think that, we've seen a lot of like season 1 go down in value, but they're the first and probably in like the most popular, the most famous of those, especially since Rizzo is, see, Todd was #1 of that entire collection of the black and whites, and then Rizzo was number 100, I think it was. And so I do think that Rizzo long term will do better than that comic.
All right, so let me ask you about that, because we're talking about that first drop ever that had Rizzo, it had Todd McFarlane Batman, it had Becky Cloonan, and it had the Joe Madureira. They all dropped on the same day, but only the Todd McFarlane, the common, got the FA label, and a lot of people, because of that, feel like whenever we have a collectible drop like Spider-Man with 5 different rarities, that really the common is the FA. It's the first one that hits the blockchain. Do you have any inside information? Do you know if the commons go on the blockchain first, or if there's a reason why the Todd got the FA and the other ones got the FEs?
That's part of it too. That's why we need the metadata. We need to actually see what dropped first, but they've always said Todd is technically the first. It's the first appearance. So I think the FA tag does matter. And if it is technically the first to hit the blockchain, but they also said like they all hit the same time. So I don't know, right? Like how they're really going to show which one, if Todd was, slightly faster or whatever. But I do think that long term, as long as it has the FA tag, as long as it's recognized as the first collectible ever on VeVe, I do actually think, even though scarcity is not as strong as Rizzo, that Todd's can surpass Rizzo.
Yeah, I've always said Todd's can surpass Rizzo. I'm a big believer in that because the first matters a lot when it comes to NFTs. History shows us that. Modric says, people selling these don't make any sense. I managed to get 2 on the market for 65 and 67. You were smart to scoop those up for cheap. Dang. They're pumping now. They're up to, let me get the floor price, I think 90. They're up to 90, 95 really. That 90 is probably being held. We're about to hit 100 gems on this. Camino says, I just saw your tweet about VeVe access in Malaysia and Indonesia. I'm Malaysian and I have access at the moment. Is there a place where I can see the listed countries for KYC? I'm not 100% sure about Malaysia. I had one friend who was talking to me about Malaysia, but I know in Indonesia, their country does not pop up on the list of countries to KYC. And then I talked to somebody earlier who said that they also work in an industry with apps that charge for their services and that they will not let people in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, India, or Russia right now access their app. And right now the people in Indonesia can't even open their app on the mobile app or the web app. So they haven't addressed that. VeVe hasn't addressed it. I'm not exactly sure. Do you got any opinions on what might be going on with that, Taps?
Yeah, I hope they address it, just because it like we found out about countries that cannot have access pretty close to when they said you have to KYC and do all this. So they usually do right by users, right? Even if it takes some time. So hopefully they find some kind of workaround for those people, because it's a slap in the face to those. Are like, hey, like get on the app and you'll be able to cash out. And then a year later, like, oh, now that you've collected a ton, you can't cash out. So hopefully they figure out something or some workaround for them.
Oh, I think that you
But
could still cash out in crypto from there.
how can they cash out if they can't KYC?
Yeah, no, I would think that if they could KYC, they would be able to cash out in crypto. But I don't understand why they wouldn't be able to KYC. I know the guy in the Philippines says he has no problem KYCing for exchanges.
Yeah, and I imagine it has to do with like the MTL laws and all that, but
Yep.
or sorry, the AML laws. But yeah, I hope they at least come out with something soon, because I don't know how many users we have in like these countries that can't cash out, but there are some, and even just some getting affected, it is negative backlash, and like it just sucks for those people who, maybe they've collected 100,000 plus, even just $10,000 worth of collectibles with the intention of, okay, well, I want to get my money out now, and you can't. That's a big issue. So hopefully they come out with something addressing it soon.
Yeah, in some countries over there, 10,000 for us is like 50,000, 100,000 for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially
bacon.
since like that's one of my biggest catalysts. I've been talking about it way too much, but localization, the ability to actually turn the app into multiple languages. If they're really going to be targeting all these other countries like China, Japan, Indonesia, like there's a lot of folks who would want to obviously have the app in their language, but it's also like, okay, but then you really need to highlight, if you're in this country, you can't KYC, you can't cash out, and
True.
almost turn off access for those who are in those countries. Otherwise, it just kind of traps them.
Yep. Mohammed, I saw that earlier. I meant to address that. He said he hasn't received your airdrop yet. I think what happened with these airdrops, they did switch it up a little bit. There's no commons, there's no uncommons, and there's no rares. Now there's only going to be an ultra rare and a secret rare. And apparently, if you sold your dinosaurs that qualified you for those airdrops after the snapshot, then you didn't get the airdrop. I know how you feel. I didn't get my secret rare airdrop. We're all sad. But
I gotta
yeah,
recheck and see if it actually is loaded yet.
I think Taps is getting a secret rare, but it hasn't been delivered yet, and he hasn't been able to look at it. So hopefully you got a good serial number on yours. I
Fingers
did get
crossed for 40.
I did get the ultra rare airdrop. I got a sub 600 serial number. I sold it for 70 gems.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have went up from there.
It
Renee
went up.
says, "I'm sorry."
It went up. I thought it was down to like 50
Ooh, I
something bucks.
kind of hope so. No offense to any holders out there. Renee says this is a hodl for sure. Flippers get out. It's gone now. It's up to 100 gems. So whoever was selling these for under 70, RIP. How y'all like my pup frog? Let's go, Cole Reed. They got that pup frog for being an Omi homie. Had the members only stream last week. We'll be doing it again next week, and everybody who attends who's a member gets a free NFT. And then we have giveaways for other NFTs. Crispy Taco says VeVe needs to be more transparent. Been saying this for a year now. On that airdrop, I gotta agree with you on that one. But of course, I'm biased because I was the one who lost out. Kobe Tech says low mints have all been getting picked up all the way up to 150, 120 floor within 10 minutes. That's usually what happens when the floor rises. People will go through and buy those low serial numbers on the way up. Makes sense.
Yeah, but I wonder too also if it'll drop in. So like I think the floor will continue to climb, but then I wonder if the floor will drop following the event and or leading up to Silver Surfer, because I think out of all the drops this entire weekend, Silver Surfer is the one that people are most gung ho for. So there could be, maybe it runs up to 140 gems, maybe, and then there's going to be a sell off of it, so that way people can just grab that and then put it into Silver Surfer.
Yeah, and some people will even wait till tomorrow before tomorrow's drop and sell their drop from today just to have gems for tomorrow's drop. So I agree. I think it could run up and then come back down, but then maybe, next month after this is all taken care of and we've already had Amazing Fantasy 15, this might be a good drop to hold on to because it's 3,000 editions, it's Spider-Man, it's Comic-Con, it's got the CE tag, which is very scarce, and there's only, like I said, 3,000 editions, and it's Spider-Man. Everybody loves Spider-Man. Beta and Blue's going up a bit, says Dr. Strange. What's up, VeVe Vibes? VeVe Vibe says, I figured some people would sell their dinos after the snapshot, but before the airdrop, I would have waited. I would have waited too if I would have known, bro. If they would have told me. Greg Fogarty says, what's up, Taps? Hope you are well too. Thank you, Greg. Took an L here, sold Wonder Woman, and got my Saber set back, though. I like the idea of buying the Saber set. What are some NFTs you think on the app, Taps, that are undervalued right now that are good pickups in this dip?
Oh, man. I
There's a
mean,
lot.
the past dip has been crazy. And so I did buy a bunch of Marvel Mighties. I stacked a bunch of Captain Americas specifically because I do plan on flipping several during this event. I thought about, okay, I'm a new VeVe user, right? I'm all excited at Comic-Con. this is awesome. I have NFTs at home, never heard of VeVe. I'm gonna download the app. What am I gonna buy? Okay, there's these giant cutouts of Marvel Mighties in front of me. They look like they could be in type of some game. Like this booth is at the this VeVe is at the Marvel booth. What am I gonna buy? I'm gonna go for things that I'm a new investor, so I'm gonna not want to spend a ton of money. I can get 10 Marvel Mighties for $200. I'm gonna go that route. So I did stack Marvel Mighties. I did stack like some of the commons and ultra rares of Captain America, Black Panther, Thor, some things that I thought people would go for. And then I do plan on flipping some extras just because I built up some stacks. But I also think Star Wars. Yeah, I think that's a smart move with the lightsabers, especially if you caught VeVe Magic's live stream with David Yu. He was talking all about them. And I still very bullish on any Disney IP. And my favorite collectible in the app of all time is Steamboat Willie. The prices have shot really, really down, but it's what started it all, right? Like Steamboat Willie is the character. You still see it before every Disney movie to date. And David Yu himself has talked about just how impactful it was for them to get that license. So, right, to have that collectible. So I do think anything Disney, Marvel, like you're going to be successful in stacking them.
Yeah, I've been torn on whether I want to grab that Steamboat Willie or not. It's all the way down to 700 last time I saw, which I didn't think it would ever drop that low. It feels like a good
It's
pickup.
up to 1K now.
It's at 1K now? All right, so I missed my chance, but you never know. I might go back and get it. Let's see what we got in the chat. Last night I accidentally sold my Elephant Disney poster for only $14.99. You guys got to be careful when you're listing your stuff for sale. You get two chances. This is what by the way, I got this pulled up. This is what VeVe's setup looks like at Comic-Con next to Marvel. And judging by these, like Taps was saying, they're highlighting the Marvel Mighties. I wonder why they're highlighting, if there's a particular reason why. I mean, we do have the other Marvel characters up here. I don't see a lot of information about the Marvel comic book NFTs, which I thought would be popular during Comic-Con, but we don't know. That's just a couple pictures. We don't know exactly what their setup's going to look like.
Yeah, and that could be Marvel's choice too, because they do have their own digital comics that they sell. So maybe they're going to be talking about that. And maybe they're like, hey, VeVe, we don't want you to promote the comics because we're going to do our own thing. And that could be the reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Glenn says, come on, VeVe Vault. We talked about you holding to get the secret rare. Did we talk about that? I wish you would have told me. I would have listened. I probably wouldn't have listened. I should have held it. If I would have known it made a difference, I would have held it. So I got the secret rare. Apparently that secret rare airdrop only had 450 editions, something like that. So they're doing pretty well on the market. 400 or 500 gems. 10 wealthy peoples will rely on advisors and buy expensive stuff. I don't know. Do you think people are hiring advisors to tell them what NFTs to invest in? Like Wells are coming in here and taking like actual financial advisors who maybe are not associated with NFTs before, but just understand how markets work and are coming in here and analyzing the markets like that and investing that way into VeVe. Are they going that hard into it, or is this just individuals getting in here and buying or being early?
There's definitely like advisors who talk about NFTs. I'm not sure how many are actually looking at VeVe, but I do think back to like September where we saw on why am I forgetting the name right now? But on a major NFT channel's stream, like DCL Blogger, who's a big name in NFTs, he actually was talking about how he was secretly collecting VeVe NFTs, and then we saw the prices pump. So there are some secret whales out there, but when it comes to actual advisors, I think that's one of the reasons why they announced that partnership with Collective Shift, the like learn to burn thing, is they do advise on not just crypto, but also NFTs, and the fact that it burns OMI if you sign up and use that code. I think that's the way they want to go, right? Because we know the VeVe market right now is a fraction of something like OpenSea and several others, even though there's 7 million NFTs there. But I think that's the way that they want to go long term. Is it's going to be so strategic that there will be groups, including whale groups, that are going to have advisors, and probably people in our community today who are going to make their own kind of advisor groups to help. Like, hey, I've been in VeVe NFTs since the beginning, and this is how you should trade. This is how you should do it, and I'm going to go ahead and help you, a new whale coming in, on what you should buy.
True. Yeah, that seems like people who are bringing in a lot of money into this, and it's a new space for them, would want to get somebody who has some expertise in it. Although, is anybody really an expert at NFTs? It's such a new genre. It's hard to even call yourself an expert. Or you have to have results that you can prove for sure. DJ Tico says everyone thought Comic-Con would pump comic books, and it's going to pump Marvel Mighties. It might. I mean, it's kind of looking like it. Sounds like a lot of people stacked on the Marvel Mighties too whenever they saw that display. Altogether now, floor has almost doubled in the last week. That's the Steamboat Willie. Yeah, I slept on that one. Tucson Collectible says they hire their advisors over a case of beer at the San Diego Comic-Con hotel room. Interesting. The new 11 News says, similar to a Todd, do you think Spider-Man Comic-Con will be significant as the first Comic-Con poster NFT? I mean, is it even technically the first Comic-Con poster NFT? A lot of people are calling this the first Comic-Con drop on VeVe, but didn't we have a Comic-Con drop already, Taps?
Yeah, I mean, it was virtual last year, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it was like those did have the CE tags in. I remember last like the virtual Comic Con that they did with San Diego Comic Con last year. It was, everyone was still excited back then, so we all went for them, but the hype around the CE tag didn't really hold up, so I'm not really bullish on the CE tags. I think that this drop will, obviously it's done well, like it stayed above retail like we all talked about, and like the prices are still climbing. But I think the significance of it being like the first live San Diego Comic-Con, I don't think that'll hold a lot of weight, especially since we've already seen where some of the things that we thought would hold weight in terms of tags and it being the first of, certain type, like the battle statues. I always think about like, oh, the first battle statue.
Yeah.
Look what happened to those prices. So I think as more things drop, as the market continues to flood in with new brands, new collectibles, that won't matter long term. So that's why I do think if you did snag this and you can flip it at, a 3x price, maybe it goes up to 150, by the time this FOMO dies down, that might be a smart move.
I agree. 2D art in general just does not seem to do well on the app, no matter what it is or how scarce it is or how good it looks. I mean, there are some of the scarce decon drops that I collect, like Pop Life Art and Electric Lola, which have been holding value up until recently, but they're starting to lose their value too. Victor Texas says, do we have news about combining accounts? All of us are having multiple accounts? Yes. At the last community update, they mentioned that they're going to have a period where if you have multiple accounts, they're going to let you combine those accounts into one main account, which is exactly what NBA Top Shot did whenever they started their KYC program. But if I'm not mistaken, Taps, and you can correct me if I am, didn't they say it's going to be a couple months before they start doing that?
I think they said in like a month or two,
Okay.
Which in VeVe speak, that could be 3 months. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to hear that, but I mean, they're going to have to be really careful on that, right? Because that just opens up opportunity for bot accounts. And like I have a second account, but I did transfer pretty much most of everything like months and months and months back, just because, I was afraid once the waiting room came that was going to go that way. I didn't know that they were going to turn off transfers. So that was a smart move. But yeah, the fact that they're now announcing that you can merge accounts, I think it's just, it'll happen since they talked about it, but we don't know when it'll happen. So, I would, instead of selling your collectibles in there right now versus waiting to just merge, like it depends on your goal, right? Are you trying to be a master collector? If you have like some solid drops in that secondary account, maybe hold them. But if they're just, cheapies or things that you're trying to get rid of, when they merge accounts, you can hopefully have total gems merged and or collectibles merged.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because I feel like some people are panicking and selling off the stuff in their multiple accounts and then trying to sell their gems off app. Even in the Facebook groups, there's a lot of people still selling their gems off app. If you're just patient for a couple more months, you're probably going to save a lot of money and not have to risk being scammed by somebody, because the scamming in this space is ridiculous. Abdullah Arif says, I have a great idea for Omi. What if we buy collectibles using gems, but use Omi to rent collectibles? Renting cars will be huge. I agree that renting cars will be huge. What do you think about that idea, using the Omi to rent out collectibles? And what do you think about the future of renting collectibles? Is this going to be as bullish as people are thinking when it comes to renting stuff out?
So, yes, and there's a number of reasons. So, yeah, so like that point with the actual vehicles, I think we're going to see, especially with the VeVe being announced, we're going to be seeing more whales jumping in. We'll see our whales that we already have today. They could already be doing things that, buying up like a total supply of certain things. So I know there are some people who sit on a ton of DeLoreans and certain things. And I think that's a smart move, because if you control the supply and you need a DeLorean or some type of vehicle to do types of racing, or maybe you need some type of collectible to go into like the actual Disneyland area of the VeVe or entire set, that's where you see whale games come into play. And the fact is if they have 50% of supply or 75% of supply, we even see people doing collectible DAOs, right? Where they're like throwing a mass amount of money to try to buy up supplies. And then they say, okay, well, we're not going to sell you these. The floors are insane now. So you're not going to spend $1,000 on a common DeLorean, but we'll rent it to you. So that way you can compete in this racing game, bet Omi, have fun in it, yada, yada, yada. So I do see renting doing really well. And that's actually a big use case for more people to join too.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that they know that they want to add utility to the NFTs, and it's not hard to add utility. You just make a game, you just make a party or something that you have to own an NFT to go to, and as more of those are developed and the multiverse is expanded, then it's going to be less, those NFTs that you have, those tickets to enter those buildings, they're going to be more and more scarce, so they're going to have more value, and then people aren't going to want to pay to buy them, so they'll just rent them. I agree with that 100%. The extreme thing does have a definition, says Tucson. Steve says, I want a VeVe museum model that other people put on VR to see our VeVe our vault setups. I agree, but that's pretty much what the multiverse, the VeVe-verse is expected to be. We're all going to have like our own vaults. It's going to be like your own house, or at least this is the speculation. We can see how you're picturing it, Taps, but I'm picturing the VeVe-verse as everybody having like their own house, which has their NFTs inside it, and then you're going to have different buildings that other companies, maybe Disney has their Disney building, and what's that one? The Cthulhu place has their building, and in order to get in there and play the Cthulhu games, you'll have to have a Cthulhu NFT. That's kind of where I'm at when it comes to picturing what the VeVe-verse is going to look like.
Yeah, they said the first phase is going to be like VeVe Homes, which I think about basically a bigger glorified version of our showrooms, but they can build on top of it, right? And there's like social aspects to it. And then I think as the phases come, like phase 2 could be that big like kind of town center area where we can all do drops together and all that. I'm hoping that's like phase 2. But then, yeah, to your point, there could be buildings that are specific to brands, and then there'll be whole worlds that you have to travel to that are specific to the big brands like Marvel World, Disneyland, Star Wars Land, things like that. But I really think about the VeVe-verse almost like Animal Crossing. I'm not sure if you ever played that game, but it's been years, and like over a decade. This game is absolutely crushed, originally on GameCube, and then now it's on Switch, and people love this game. But it's social. You have the ability to play mini games in it, and it's just a really fun. You can travel to other people's areas. So I think about it almost like a higher end Animal Crossing, but something that's actually now tied to NFTs and metaverse. And yeah, it's going to be multiple phases. So I think it's going to be an evolving thing for the next 3 years, but that first phase is still going to be pretty exciting. And again, that turns us from just an NFT marketplace where we're not quite NFTs really recognized yet to an actual metaverse project.
Yeah, and it's going to add a whole lot of content on social media. People taking pictures of their new metaverse, people taking pictures of their neighbors and how they can get around and show off their NFTs, because the whole thing about collecting is the ability to show your stuff off, and that's an important part of it. That's one reason why I didn't mind selling my vintage baseball cards to start collecting NFTs, because I don't have anybody to show my baseball cards to, and collecting is kind of showing off, right? A little bit.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think like what really makes a metaverse project is the community, right? Like Sandbox and Decentraland have been killing it, even though they really don't have a big community. I've hopped into Decentraland just to kind of run around on it, and like I was bored pretty quick. I'm not hating on those projects. They're the most recognized and kind of like the staples, but our community is massive. Like we're always living, breathing, eating VeVe and Omi every single day when we're not, busy with things outside of it. But like every single day, the first thing I do is I hop in Twitter, Telegram, talking with people. Like I talk with people in the community more than I do my own friends and family. And so when you bring that into a metaverse, it's going to spread like wildfire. People are going to get it. People are going to see, okay, this isn't just a bunch of a cult on Twitter who just keep posting red O's. It's somewhere where I can react, where I can actually interact with these people. We can go for these. They're actually true NFTs. We can see the metadata. We can see the IP, the brands. We can actually go to Disneyland. Like, I'm very bullish on the VeVe-verse, if you can't tell.
Yeah, and the community itself is almost like a utility to the NFTs because you want to be a part of it.
100%.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's about time. It's almost 12 o'clock. Time to end the stream. I want to make sure that I pull up Mr. Taps Trades YouTube channel. I assume everybody in here is already subscribed to Taps. But if you're not, for some reason, subscribed to Taps already, make sure you subscribe to his channel. Before we leave, Taps, let people know what is your channel focused on. I already know myself, but for you to explain it in your own words, what your channel focuses on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, thanks again for having me, man. This has been really fun and great to interact with your community. And, we have a lot of similar folks in here, so happy to see some familiar faces. And, great job on the drop. Absolutely crushed it. Congrats to all those who hit the W. My channel, if you haven't heard of it, Taps Trades. Feel free to like, subscribe. Appreciate it. My channel's primarily like 95% VeVe and Omi, but I do occasionally talk about other NFT projects like Illuvium, like Caliscope, sometimes talk about other crypto like Cardano, XRP. But man, VeVe and Omi keep me busy. So it's usually 95% VeVe and Omi. And thanks for checking it out.
100%. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on this drop. Congratulations to everybody who got the drop. Keep an eye on the market. Price is falling right now, but I don't think it's going to fall like below 80 or anything. So I don't know if I would dump yours right now. I'm not dumping mine. I'm going to hold on to it till the price comes back up. Once again, thank you so much, Taps, for being on the channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Taps, and I will see you guys at tomorrow's live stream. Later, guys.